welcome down to episode 137 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia, and the dude on your other screen, or in your other ear if you're listening to the show. It's Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania, Australia. Hello, Cameron.
The screen on your other dude, listening in your other face, is me.
That's it. Exactly. Welcome down to
Yes.
Australia's number one ranked photography podcast.
Not this week. We're not. We're down the gurgler, mate.
We're down south.
We are down south of the ladder this week.
Never mind.
I think we're floating in the 80s or 90s down there, but that's okay. Look, let's give other people a go. Have other people a crack.
That's right. They can't all be gems.
We can't. Yeah, pull it out of our ass every time.
With that in mind, thank you to all 892 of you who have subscribed on the YouTubes and across the various other platforms where you find us, be that Spotify, be it Apple Podcasts, be it YouTube Podcasts. Why not? They're there. Everything's there. We're on all the podcasts everywhere. Yeah.
We are slutting ourselves around on all the podcasts.
Wherever you get your podcast from is where you'll find us. A little bit of homework before we move on. The black and white comp People's Choice voting is up and running on the Facebooks.
It is. Facebook's going well too, isn't it?
It's good voting going on. People are very keen.
There's two clear winners or clear leaders.
Yes. And a little word of warning for our listeners out there that there may be some more language on this one. Last week, one of us forgot to bleep out some swearing.
What are you talking about?
That's right. One of us, me, forgot to bleep out some swearing. The week before, we had Buddy completely destroy my camera. This week, not only do we have Cam over here swearing his head off, Buddy's back in the room. So this could all go very, very pear-shaped. If you've got kids in the car, I apologize.
Well, we don't swear often.
No, we don't.
That
doesn't mean you have to now.
Going back to the top of the run sheet there with the subs, there's 892 subs. I reckon we'd be on 1,000 if we didn't PG it.
That's right. We made it R-rated version.
I've always thought that having commentary for the AFL that was uncut, uncensored would be amazing. You never get the license to do it, but
no. Yeah,
but this is the next best thing. We've got our own platform. We can commentate about photography in our own language.
Yeah, it is good. And as we say quite regularly on the show, it is very, very cool to see the channel growing organically without us having to throw it down everyone's neck every week. So thank you for people who engage. For example, people who engaged on the post we put up during the week about the buying a new kit with 10 grand.
Yes, great question.
It has generated something like 40 or 50 comments, which is, and we're only early days because we're recording quite early in the week this week, because as will come to light later on when we talk to Cam a bit more about his adventures coming up. It was a good question, that 10K question, and still generating a fair bit of interest. The question went something on the lines of, it's a hypothetical. You're a very keen landscape photographer or perhaps even a pro. You need to buy new gear. Let's say, for example, it all got stolen and you have to replace it. You've got a $10,000 budget. What do you buy? And we need a kit top to bottom, everything that you need for landscape photography. And we got some fantastic responses.
I'm trying. There was one great response, which I'm sure you're going to give a shout out to, but
yes,
I just can't get my head around why so many people use Canon.
I don't not like Canon.
I don't.
What's wrong with Canon?
I'm just trying to
figure out. What is wrong with Canon, Cameron? What is it? What is it? We need to get to the bottom of this. You have a bit of a bugbear with Canon.
I just don't understand how so many people invested into Canon. Where'd you go, Brendan?
Guess what happened?
Did Buddy pull the camera out? Jeez.
Yeah, how funny is that? He just did it again. Exactly the same thing. Here we go.
You're back.
I'm back. Okay. No, I know how to fix it now. So
yeah. You'll have to bleep out that.
Please hold. Buddy needs to go outside.
Anyway, I'll keep rambling on about Canon while you let the dog out. I just don't know. I think it's a whole flow-on effect from back in the 90s when everyone just had a Canon, and because it was Canon, Nikon, and Minolta. That was about it.
Yep.
But I have to, I've played with a lot of cameras, and I get people on trips with lots of cameras, and they're all lovely cameras. The Canons are nice cameras. They're made well. They look good. They're all that kind of stuff. But I just don't see how they're any more special than any other brand. But everyone, like they're so invested into Canon.
Yeah, I think okay.
Yeah.
From my point of view, I think you've touched on a very valid point, and that is legacy.
Yeah.
You know, Canon's how old? 85 years old, or it's been around for
Yeah.
a long
Yeah.
time. They're a very
Yeah.
trusted brand.
Yeah.
You know, they've had their moments along the way. You know, they've released some pretty ordinary cameras along it, but who hasn't?
Yeah.
You know, all the manufacturers have their turn at releasing a couple of really awful cameras.
But are they much better than other brands
Well, it's
to
come.
warrant the market share that they have? I don't think
Um,
so.
I, I don't know. I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think but that's so we're not Canon bashing at all. What we're saying here is there's a lot of awesome brands out there.
Not yet.
Canon have a massive following, and
Yeah.
I own Canon gear. I've shot Canon. Some of my background shots you've seen over the
Yeah.
journey on the podcast have been shot on Canon cameras, and
Yeah.
I don't hate using them. I think they're a fine camera. What
Yeah.
makes them so popular? Marketing, as I say, legacy. Like people have got all the lenses, so
Yeah.
you know they keep using them. People get, you know, they get sort of stuck in their ways and used to a certain system, and that's fine.
I think with your question that you put up there, you left off one little bit at the end that could have helped us.
Okay.
So you said you're a very keen landscape shooter, even a
Yep.
pro, maybe you have new
Yep.
gear, you got 10 grand to spend. How do you buy? What kit do you do? Top to bottom, go, and why? I
Yeah.
want I want to see people justify why they're dropping 10 grand on that kind of kit versus another
Yep.
kind of kit.
Yep.
Like there was one comment about the Fuji, the GFX 50S and the 100S.
Hmm.
Now, I've had a Fuji 100, I've had a Fuji 50. And even just tonight, I was editing some files from one of my Cradle workshops on I think it was from an R5.
Hmm.
And I looked at the raw file and I was not impressed
Okay.
versus what the Fuji kicks out, which is just a stunning raw file. So I don't know. That's where I just struggle with. And again, I'm just getting old and grumpy, but there's such a big market share in Canon, but no one ever sort of really justifies why. Like they got good glass, I give them that.
Yep.
Canons have good glass, but the files I see, the handling of the menus, they only came into the flip out screen last year or something. Like you know what I mean? Like it's just there's other options out there that I think give better bang for buck, but people keep going back to those top brands all the time. That's
Well,
just
one
me.
thing that we never talk about is aftermarket service. I mean, Canon
Yeah,
might be absolutely legendary at it. I don't know.
they might
My
be.
experiences with Canon in retail have always been really strong.
Yeah,
Never had any issues with Canon reps or with
yeah.
you
Well, remember
know
Trav, remember Trav Munro? Trav Munro was a good
that's
guy.
right.
He'd,
Yeah,
he'd
yeah.
always help out and stuff like that.
That's
He
right.
listens to the
Sales,
show, surely.
so after sales service and all that sort of stuff's always been top shelf.
Hmm.
As far as I know, they still have a pretty big presence in Australia on that front.
Yeah,
Some of the other manufacturers are now literally basing their repair centers and things offshore. So that's interesting. But I think
yeah,
Canon Australia is still very
yeah.
much alive and well. So
But
it could be
I
that
found,
too. So yeah,
yeah,
there's a lot to factor in.
yeah. It's interesting. Again, again, I've been in industry as long as you have, most likely, and
Hmm.
sold cameras. Dad worked in cameras. I've played around with every camera you can think of, sold them all, and it's never made sense to me why one brand, up until probably recently, one brand was always over the top of the others.
Hmm.
And like I'm a pretty black and white kind of person. Like I just look at it and go, oh, that's better. It's obviously got better quality. That's why it's better or more expensive. But
Hmm.
that's where I don't see the difference. So anyway,
Fair
that
enough.
wasn't anything to do with our topic, was it?
No. It's all relative to the Down South Photo Show, which is
You,
quite often very broad.
you
Yes,
should give you
Marie,
should, you should give some
Marie,
shout outs. Yeah, before I crap on anymore
Marie
about Canon.
Phillip. Thank you. You made my day with your response to the question that we posed on Facebook. Marie went ahead and answered the whole thing in rhyme.
That's pretty
That's
clever.
right. She wrote a little poem, and I decided to respond in poetry as well. You can find it all on the Facebook page. It was hilarious. So
Yeah,
thank you, Marie.
yeah.
And also, while we're on shout outs, Terry and Kim, who are traveling, were in Geelong and went, you know what? Let's go down to Ocean Grove Camera and Photo because they watched the show and they wanted a shout out. They came in for no other reason. They wanted to show me what cameras they were using and that sort of stuff. But they came in and they said, "Hey,
I,
we're here.
I,
Do we get a shout out?" And I was like,
I've,
"Absolutely, you do." So Terry and Kim, there it is.
I've figured it out.
Okay.
You're paying them. People come in, you're giving them $20.
Yeah, because do I look like I've got any money?
You got new
I run a
T-shirts.
camera store, mate. Come on,
If
I'm
you put the
broke.
glasses back on, you look like a millionaire.
I'm broke. Thanks. I've got some new glasses.
Hey, look at the specs. It's intelligent printed.
Comment below.
Yeah, like
So
I don't
thank you
get.
for calling into Ocean Grove Camera and Photo. And whoever, if you come into Ocean Grove Camera and Photo, by all means, you get a shout out on the Down South Photo Show podcast.
I'm going to give a shout out.
Go.
I'm going to give a shout out to Chelsea again because
Hello,
we all
Chelsea.
we all
She
love
never
Chelsea.
gets a shout out on this show.
I think we should get her on the show.
Okay, we will.
I think we should have Chelsea on the show because she's got a marketing background.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that listen to this show who are on social media who want to try and get their work out there. How do I go about it? What steps should they be doing? Is it a waste of time doing this versus that? I think
Give some advice, you think?
I think it could be some like Chelsea's top 5 tips for social media growth or something like that. Anyway,
absolutely.
The reason why I want to give her a shout out is we've entered the tourism awards down here again.
Nice.
This year. We didn't enter last year because we forgot. The year before we won, so
we're doing another crack.
Give another crack. But we had a meeting with one of the representatives from the Tourism Awards Committee, and it was a Zoom call. And I had Chelsea there because she helped write the application. She helps with part of our business and stuff like that. And at the end of this thing, this lady was lovely. We only just met this lady. We've been talking for an hour and a half. And she goes, "Look, this is going to sound weird, but she goes, I just love listening to you two tonight. You guys work really well together. You should do a podcast." And I said, "Well, funny you say that." And then Chelsea just went straight into marketing. She goes, "He does do a podcast. It's Down South Photo Show. It's #1. Off she went. Off she went.
Good.
But I think maybe we should get Chelsea on for a chat.
Hello, is she from Tourism Tasmania or where is she from?
She actually works at Hollybank, which is a zip line thing up in the forest.
Yes.
Up near Launceston. So she works with that business, but they choose industry experts to come and do some assessments of other businesses for the awards. Her name was Taylor. You can
Hello, Taylor. I'm sure she's watching.
She might now that she knows we're on air.
100%.
Anyway, so shout out to Chelsea. Let's work on maybe getting her on the show.
Consider it worked on. Let's drop a little teaser for a guest that we've got who's coming on in November. That's all we can say.
Has it been confirmed?
It's been 100% confirmed. We have a guest coming on.
Do we have a date?
We don't have a date yet, but it will be in November. So
will we be in America or will we be in Australia?
We will make things work no matter what, because we're not missing out on this one. This is a good one. Can I ask
a teaser question?
You can. It's got to be cryptic though.
Yeah. Are they from the northern or southern hemisphere?
They're from the northern hemisphere. They don't.
Okay.
They're not from our neck of the woods.
Okay.
That's all.
And it's a they them.
No more. We can't give it away, Cam. We're going to do a cliffhanger every week until this person comes on. Backgrounds, Cameron.
Oh,
I'm going to start, and I'm going to use my iPod case to cover us up as I normally do. Now, I asked Cam before we came on air if I've used this as a background before. I don't think I have, but I was just going, you know how you go back through your old photos and you go, dang, I like that shot. That was with my drone at Port Fairy.
Yes.
So offshore at Port Fairy, obviously at sunset, trying my hardest to get the sunset lined up right behind the lighthouse, which I pretty much managed to do. So yeah, it was hard work, but we got there, and I'm stood off. It's almost a selfie. I'm almost in that shot. I'm just off to the right-hand side, standing on the little rocky beach over there. So, fantastic place for photos is Port Fairy. So
that lighthouse hasn't had justice done to it yet.
Yeah, I've done a few shots of it. Well, I've only been there a couple of times. I've done a few shots of it, but it's a tasty little lighthouse. You get sunrises there, you get sunsets there, obviously.
Yeah.
It's out on a little it's on an isthmus.
I was going to say isthmus, yeah.
It's on an isthmus.
I know what that is.
Isthmus. I can't say that.
Isthmus.
That's right.
Isthmus.
Isn't that what happens at the end of December?
Yeah, everyone comes to my house for Isthmus.
That's right. So, yeah, awesome place. If you find yourself in far western Victoria, drop into Port Fairy and check out the Griffiths Island Lighthouse, which is that one right there.
And say hello,
Cameron, your background is Tasmania, or?
Yeah, this is Tasmania. Back in the Gondwana days when everything was joined up. So people might know where that is. It's a pretty famous stretch of road.
Run, Forest,
Let's
run.
run. Now I tried something before we came on air. I thought it worked pretty funny, but I'm not doing it
Okay.
again.
Now do it.
No, I'm not doing it.
Come on.
No, absolutely not. So this is the famous Monument Valley or road into Monument Valley that we will be seeing in just over a few weeks' time. This will be part of the trip as we head south to the Grand Canyon and Antelope Canyon. I put this up. I know I'm getting excited about some trips that are coming up, so I thought, why not put this up? And well, no doubt we'll have. This could be a good spot for the group shot, maybe as part of
I
the
think
trip.
we'll if you want me to wig up and put a big fake beard on and
Yeah,
run
run,
and put a
Forrest,
Bubba Gump
run.
hat on, I'll
Or
do that for you.
we could just put a Bubba Gump hat on Daniel because he's got the beard. Maybe he doesn't have the physique, but
I'm not coming home without a Bubba Gump hat.
okay. Bubba does, but Bubba Gump does, whatever it is.
We need one of them.
My brother went to America a few years ago and brought Noel a sign saying "stupid is as stupid does," whatever, and just gave it to Dad. And Dad thought it was like a compliment, but no, it's hanging up in Dad's bar. But I don't think he still realizes that it's taking the piss.
Come on, Noel.
Hey, we haven't heard from taking the piss for a while.
He hasn't been on this. No,
Yeah.
he's backed right off. I think he's.
Yeah.
I think he's
G'day to
done.
Nick Fletcher from BFOP as well. Hope you're doing
G'day,
well,
Nick.
mate. Yeah,
Traveling well. Good. Nice work. Well, speaking of travel, Cameron.
Oh, what a segue.
Beautifully done. And people have already seen the thumbnail, so they know that we're going to be talking a little bit about packing your bags for some travel photography.
Yes.
Things like, how do you decide what to take? We get asked this all the time. We really do.
Yeah.
We get asked, look, I'm going here. What lens should I take? Or what body should I take? Or what gear should I take? And it is always tricky because no doubt the lens or lenses that you decide to leave at home, you wish you had with you, and the lenses that you take, you wish that you left at home. So it's always Murphy's Law and a bit of fun and games when you're traveling.
It comes what they known as a cluster thing.
The question is, how the hell do you decide what to take on an overseas trip as a photographer? Now, someone I know, the guy on the other screen or in your other ear, if you're listening to the show, is about to jump on the big bird to Bonnie, Scotland.
Yes.
And is that how you say it? Bonnie's, yeah, anyway. And check out Scotland. So
Scotland, yeah.
So have you decided yet, given that you are days away from flying?
I am literally 24 hours away from leaving my house.
And you're tearing your hair apart, right?
I've got no idea what I'm taking.
Wow.
So, and I'm being legit. This is not set up for this topic. I have no idea yet what I'm taking.
Okay.
So I'm going with Cheryl Davis, the wonderful macro photographer.
Yep.
And she's an Olympus shooter, as I am an Olympus shooter. And she's like, "Oh, you've got to bring your big white lens for the wildlife in Scotland." I'm like, "What wildlife in Scotland?" She's like, "Oh, there's
wildlife. I agree.
Well, there's
known
deer,
for its wildlife,
there's deer,
sure.
there's badgers, there's they're not otters, little things flying around. And
I tell you what, get a photo of a big stag deer. That'd be cool.
That's what she's saying. It would in the background. I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, okay, so if I do that, then I'm sort of committing myself to the Olympus system. But then I sold my wide angle lens the other day to Sharon, who listens to the show, and left myself without a wide angle lens, which I've now replaced with another one. So I could go that. But then that big lens and everything, even though it's the Olympus system, pushes my weight up on the carry-on quite a lot. Because I want to take, you want to take it all on carry-on with you if you can.
Although that is a very lightweight lens, big.
It is light. It's still about just under 2 kilos. But with everything else in my carry-on, like a laptop or a couple of battery banks and stuff like that, I've got to be careful of that. So then I went down the other avenue of, okay, I've got my little Leica, which is tiny, like it's just here. It's a tiny little camera. And I've got the lenses are small for it. So I did a calculation today on a bit of piece of paper here.
Well, geez, you've really done some.
Yeah, the weight. Here. So if I was to take my Olympus camera, my new wide angle lens and the big long lens, I'm about 3.1 kilos in camera gear.
Right.
Not without a tripod that'll get on the luggage.
That's pretty reasonable.
It's pretty reasonable. But once I put it in my bag with a couple of battery banks, an iPad or whatever it is, I'm pushing 7 kilos already.
Right. And you've got a 7 kilo limit for carry-on.
7 kilo limit for carry-on, which is pretty standard for most international flights.
Okay.
So my thought was, okay, that $10,000 Olympus lens, I'll just chuck it in my luggage all wrapped up. Everyone's like, no, you're an idiot. Do not do that. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So if I go the Leica system, I can take the Leica, I can take a 21 mil wide angle,
Mm-hmm.
fine. I can take a 50 mil for the street photography around all the cool Edinburgh and stuff like that.
Perfect.
And I've got a 90 mil, which will give me a pretty good reach into landscape
Mm-hmm.
and wildlife. And it does have I can use it as a crop sensor, so to speak, and get 180 mil out of it.
Okay.
That whole system is 1.8 kilos.
Wow.
So it's a big difference.
It's a massive difference.
So I don't know. I think I'm going to stick with just taking the Leica, just because it's small and compact. But of course I do that.
Yeah.
There is going to be a stag on a hill with a rainbow
You are
coming
going
out
to
of its
have the
ass with
biggest
an aurora.
FOMO moment of your
I know.
life.
I know. And I've just gone and bought this other new lens. I've actually bought a Panasonic 10 to 25
Lovely.
1.7 lens for this OM, which is lovely. And I know I'm gonna regret it. So my other thought is just to throw another one in because I'm an
Yep.
absolute camera whore, right?
Yep.
I to take the Olympus stuff,
Yep.
and then I could also take that little Fuji I've got just for the street photography stuff.
Oh, yes.
I could just go shoot from the hip around the cities and stuff like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
That'll still put me at like 3.5 kilos.
Can I make a suggestion?
Don't go.
So we had our meeting for the Utah crew the other night, our Zoom meeting.
Yes, we did.
Someone made the point that it's 7 kilos carry on doesn't include a camera that's around your neck.
True.
So why don't you get
Rock up with my big white lens and carry it around my neck
I
on
don't
the
think you'll be
plane.
allowed to have that, but well, you could.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
could
know.
try.
You could try, but I reckon your OM1
Yep.
with your heaviest, not the big white lens, but your next heaviest lens on,
Yep.
which I'm not sure what it is. It's probably on your little spreadsheet there, on your
Which
little
is
piece
this
of
one.
paper there.
Now that thing
There you
now.
go. Right. So that goes around your neck. And
Yep.
then in your bag goes either the Leica or the little Fuji.
Yeah, possibly. But then
You got to take two cameras. You got to have redundancy, mate.
This is the thing. Do I have to have two cameras? Do I have
Yes,
to be
you
a
do.
complete flog and take two cameras?
What happens if you get off the plane and you do a shoot for one day and it dies?
iPhone. No, that's a good point. So
no, you're into the nearest Jessop's camera store and you're forking out for another bloody camera. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening. So, and this is the other thing. Like, what do I do with that camera around my neck once I get on the plane?
I would have thought that you'd be able to just stick it under the seat in front of you or under your own seat, right. Surely.
Well, I thought maybe I could take a snoot case, like one of the snoot bags, and have that around my like that, maybe
like we use on the Overland and
like
places.
that.
Yep.
So yeah, it is a real dilemma, and I've been tossing this up for the last week, and I've done the maths and I've done it all, and I've put it all in the bag, and I've weighed the bag, and I've changed bag because the original bag I had like a dead weight of 2 kilos to start with.
Yep. I've just had an absolute epiphany. I'm a genius. I've solved your problem. Rent a camera while you're over there.
No, I'm not renting a camera.
Why not?
It costs a fortune. I've already spent a fortune on shit.
It's not going to cost that much.
Yeah, it would.
Well, then you're just using it. You got your own memory card. That it's just like it's your gear. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, fine.
I think
maybe see if you can rent the 40 to 150 f4.
Well, this is the thing, right? So I was talking to Cheryl the other day, and this goes out to men and women and theys and thems, whoever it is. But women pack heavier than men. I've established that in experience of dealing with lots of traveling people. Women pack heavier. So I rang Cheryl the other day and I said, I think I'm pretty much packed, tripod, everything. I've just got to put my toiletries in. I'm at 16 kilos. She's like, how the hell are you at 16 kilos? I'm like, I just am. She goes, I'm at 20 kilos and I haven't even done half my packing yet. I've got to put a hair straightener in. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. So I'm like, okay, I'm confident enough to put that white lens in my luggage.
Okay.
I think that solves my problem because I can then take it.
Okay.
And then it's insured. So if it does go missing,
do me a favor. Put an air tag in your luggage as well, please. Attach it to that lens. just for my peace of mind. It's not even my gear.
Just to see it, just so I can get out of the plane in Edinburgh and say, "Oh, my lens is in New York." Awesome.
My lens is in the Philippines. God damn it.
um, if I do, because I've got the weight allowance in my bag, I've got room in my bag, and I can fit it in there. And I'm just thinking, if I just wrap it up in a puffy jacket and wrap it up around t-shirts and bubble wrap it and put it in there, I think it's going to be okay, unless it
Only a
gets lost.
$10,000 lens. What could possibly go wrong?
Unless the luggage gets lost, I think damage-wise, it should be okay.
Okay.
And I have done it before. I've done it when I've gone to Darwin and I've wrapped it up and it's been
Why
okay.
if you only got a 20 kilo underneath limit
Well,
and then a 7 kilo carry on?
no, this is the other kicker to go on traveling,
Okay.
especially if you're an idiot like me and you're traveling from literally one end of the world to the other.
Yes.
So Hobart to Melbourne on Virgin, I have 23 kilos
Right.
plus 7.
Yep.
Melbourne to Perth, I've got 23 plus 7. But then when I get on the airline to the UK, I've got 25 kilos. But I can't take the 25 kilos with me to get there.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. And
so
then,
here's what you do. We're almost probably too late to do this, but we have a very good friend who you are catching up with in
yes,
Perth.
I know. I could have
You
posted
should have
it to
mailed
him.
it to him. But anyway, never
Maybe
mind.
he'll buy me a one to 50 to 40,
Go
400.
to Leaderville Camera House or one of those.
There's a
people in
DigiDirect
WA.
over there.
There is a DigiDirect there. There's also 2 Camera House stores that I know of.
So, yeah. So I think it is a dilemma. And my dilemma, I think I've taken my eyes off the game a bit, eyes off the ball a bit. Like I'm thinking about what can I take under the weight limit as opposed to what do I actually need over there.
Right. And this all falls under the guise of you've never been there. So and you don't, the last thing you would want is to be under geared, for want of a better phrase.
That's right. Yeah.
So I get that. Particularly also because you're scouting locations for your workshop and you want to be able to probably produce, fantastic images without any limitations. I still keep circling back to renting something while you're over there. I still think that's, I mean, yeah, it's maybe there's a bit of expense involved, but we're only talking probably about for a few days.
Yeah.
Realistically. But anyway, or why don't we put a shout out to anyone in Scotland who might be an OM shooter that might loan Cameron a lens or two? How about that?
All right, let's put it out there. If you want to give me a lens for a couple of weeks. So yeah, like I think I've got like 24 hours to sort it out. I think I'll just refocus my approach to what am I actually gonna really want to shoot over there? Like the big lens, that's great to have, but if it's for that one shot, is it going to be worth it really? Like I don't have to sell these workshops because they're already sold out, so I'm lucky in that instance.
Yes.
So it'd be more about my experience shooting and probably getting the best out of that while I'm there. And if I'm enjoying what I've got with me, I'll probably end up getting some good photos. But yeah,
well, this all ties in beautifully with our topic, because what you've just said then sort of circles back to our topic. You're going to Scotland, I would assume. Now, you've never been there before?
Never been there before, no.
Right. So I would assume you've maybe looked at Instagram, Google Photos, seeing what's out there in the locations you're going to.
Yeah.
And are you then basing your lens choices off of that?
Well, this is the thing. Am I doing that subconsciously? Am I looking at photos that I'm researching and going, oh, that's a cool shot down the whole cliff line, down the castle hanging off the cliff 10 kilometers away. I need a big lens for that. Oh, that's a really cool shot of the mountain and the waterfall. I need a wide angle lens for that. Like, yeah, I've tried not to look at heaps, but you have to as well. Like, just to get an idea where you're going. So, I try not to do too much of that. I try to just arrive and create my own thing, but you definitely want to know where you're going and what you're looking for.
You're on a time, you're on a schedule. So
yeah,
it's not like you can just say, oh, that looks good, I'll come back in 2 weeks and shoot it.
That's right. Yeah, I'll put that on the list for next time. But it's not going to be like that. So yeah, like it does get, and that's the last thing you want to be doing when you're going on holidays is just fluffing about with what gear to take. So in hindsight, I'd be better off. I'm stupid. I've bought too many bloody cameras. If I just had the Olympus system, that I have no other choice then, do I?
Yeah, true.
The choice is what's got me into this predicament, and now I've got to make a choice to get out of it.
Can I just say, if it were me, it's not, no. If it were me, I would take my OM5. I would take the 12 to 200, the much maligned 12 to 200. I get it. And then probably the 7 to 14. I think that's all I would take, because the 12 to 200 gives me 24 to 400. Hello. What more do I need than that?
Yeah.
The 7 to 14 gives me, if I get Northern Lights or if I get Astro, I can use it for that, and I can use it for ultra wide landscape. And I understand. And actually, if I had a 9 to 18, which I got rid of because I got the 7 to 14, I'd probably take that because it's lighter. But OM5 2 lenses, I'm going to be a couple of kilos, maybe 2.5 kilos. So that's probably where I would go. But I would still have that nagging feeling in the back of my mind of wanting to take an extra body.
All right. Yeah. See,
I'm about to go through all this, Cam.
I know.
I'm going to Utah, so I've got
that's where I think that if I put that big white lens in my luggage, then I can comfortably take the two little systems with me on my carry-on.
Yep.
I think that's the kick of that big lens, and if I use it, awesome. If I don't, then it's gone for a nice trip around the world for no reason.
I was just going to say, the last thing you want to do is take it and it just goes on a tour with you.
Well, I'll have to. I think there will be some great shots down the coastline of castles right at the end and things like that. Like it's a 300 to 800 mil lens. That's a pretty big range.
Fantastic. Awesome.
So, and then Cheryl made a good point the other day. I got that Leica. That Leica is a bit of a treat for myself for the work I've done. Give myself a little present, and I do really like shooting it. It's a really cool experience. It's like shooting film again. And she made a good point. Maybe you just take the Leica because this trip's for you, and don't worry about whatever else you have to do. Maybe just go and enjoy it how you want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So there's too many options.
And she'll have a nice little OM system for you to steal.
Well, that's the thing as well. Yeah. So we'll work it out.
Now, did I hear you say you're going to take a tripod?
Yeah.
Okay.
Only because I reckon we're going to get some Northern Lights.
Northern Lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I got a drone permit too,
which is interesting.
Yeah.
Are you taking a drone?
I'm taking a drone as well.
Well, God damn. Okay. Yes. Hard to get for Scotland?
No, not at all. It's
okay.
£11 it cost me.
Wow.
So I had to get okay. Yeah, I know. So I had to get what's called an operator ID and a flyer ID, and it's a 40-question multiple choice question test. Pass rate is 30. I got 37 or something. I was pretty happy with that.
Beautiful.
And it's the same rules pretty much as out here in Australia with distances and over people and residential and that kind of stuff. But it was pretty straightforward. So I thought, well, I'll take it, which is what's adding to my weight because I've got to take the batteries for that drone and keep them on my carry-on.
Aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. So I can put the drone in my luggage, but the batteries have got to come on with me.
You're taking 2 batteries?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a bummer, isn't it? Because you got to take 2. You can't take 1 battery. If you take 1 battery, you're going to scream at the clouds.
That's it. Old man shakes fist at cloud.
That's right.
So that's another bit of weight. So am I overdoing it with camera gear? Like how much of a wanker?
No, you're a photographer, Cameron.
Yeah, but that's pretty wanky.
No, it's not. Who cares? Well, don't let that come into it. Don't let what other people think come into it.
No, I feel like a wanker taking that much shit with me.
No. Take it all. Take everything.
Take the whole kitchen sink.
Be exactly on your weight limit, if not a couple of grams over.
That's the 2 Leica lenses. They're tiny.
For those of you listening, Cameron is holding up 2 little camera bag thingies.
Isn't that in the subtitles?
Lens bag thingies.
Anyway,
all right.
I would love to say to people, hey, give me some suggestions before I go, but this will be out. I'll be in. It's gone. I can't get.
You'll be almost in Scotland by the time this comes out. So
yeah, 892 people.
Oh no, you won't. You'll still be in Perth. You'll be in Perth when this comes out.
I leave Saturday night at 10:30, which is like 12 o'clock my time.
Mate, get ready for jet lag. You'll be fine.
I'm trying to figure out: do I on the Saturday night before we go? Do I just get shit faced and get on the plane, or do I just try and be an adult and just sleep a bit? And
our drinking problem has a podcast. Now let's go further down, and we will leave those 2 questions for a future podcast.
Sounds good.
Yes. So
thanks for your help, by the way. Thank you. I'll let you know when I'm over there.
Me personally, or the listeners?
You end up. I'm sure the listeners are all yelling at you, saying you're a dickhead. Just take your iPhone. Or
no one would ever. None of our listeners would ever say that about us. Surely not. Okay.
this lens has the heaviest lens cap I've ever
Well,
felt.
leave that at home.
Yeah, maybe I should.
I've lost all my lens caps.
Yeah. Don't you love how the light goes through?
It's very
Yeah.
cool. I like
For
that.
those,
That's a good setup. That's a good
yes,
camera.
isn't it?
Very good.
Thanks. Right, yeah.
Deer cam.
We got one. Huh.
We have got a
Oh
deer cam.
yeah,
We're already that far down the
I made a note at
run
the bottom.
sheet.
Yeah.
Because there's no photography news this week, but there is going to be next week. Something's getting announced this week, which we'll circle back to next week. I love this. This is the best deer cam of all time because it starts Dear Brendan and then in brackets and cam. Thank you very much. I love it. It's about time, right? So 137 episodes in.
Yeah.
I like it.
Is this a real person?
Yes, this is Liz from St. Leonard's. St. Leonard's is in my neck of the woods. It's
I know
just
it.
over
Isn't
there.
that's where all the stuck-up people live down here, isn't it?
All the people that know what they're talking about. Dear Cam, what do you use to clean your lenses with? Question mark. Should I use any fluids on my lenses / filters? Have we had this question before? I feel like we've mentioned this, talked about this before.
I would have thought Liz would have known that.
What do you use to clean your lens? So she's actually asking you and me what we use to clean our lenses with.
Yeah.
PS composition is way more important than exposure. That's just her opinion, Cameron. It's just her opinion.
Why does the Hawk Tour girl come to mind when I'm thinking about this?
Cam, what do you use to clean your lenses with?
I would just well, I got a couple of options for you, Liz. Not that you care about my opinion. Yep. I use one of these microfiber towel things.
They are so good.
You buy them in packs from Bunnings, like 100 for like $10. They're good.
Yep.
They're not great when they get wet or when they get a bit old. They start to molt.
They break down a bit, do they?
They do a little bit, but they're good. Mm-hmm. They don't scratch lenses or stuff like that. So I would use that. I don't normally use fluids on my lenses or filters. I use the bit.
Yep.
That's pretty much all I use, really. Yeah, you got to be careful though. Lenses have coatings and filters have coatings on them, and if you rub too much or they get wet or you use the wrong liquid, they can go a bit pear-shaped. So normally, what I find people use is like the glass cleaner, like for your spectacles. Same sort of thing. Rule applies.
Yeah, those little wipes that you can get.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're like damp. They have like a fluid in them of some kind, surely.
Yeah, but some of them just have like a spray bottle that you just clean.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that. So that's what I would do. But knowing that composition is way more better than exposure, I reckon like a 40 grit sandpaper.
Yeah, should be fine for
a
Liz.
better option.
Particularly on your L series, no doubt a Canon shooter.
I was going to say, no doubt she's shooting Canon.
Well, 50% of the world do, Cam. So you got a 50-50 chance of being right there.
Do you reckon Canon are going to talk to me at BFOP? Do you reckon this will get back? Do you reckon this will get back to them that we don't like them?
I am my own person.
No, this is a joint show, Brendan.
That's right, but our opinions do differ from time to time, as we have seen over the journey. And I happen to quite like Canon. Thank you very much. And Liz, for what it's worth, because you did say, dear Brendan, completely just to back up what Cam said. Yeah, I try and avoid using fluids whenever I can. The only time I've had to use fluids was when my lens did a nosedive into the mud when I was in the Otways one day. And it was real stubborn. So I used a bit of whatever that lens cleaning fluid. It's probably like methylated spirits.
Yeah, I think it's just an alcohol.
Yeah, an alcohol. That's thing. It. That's what it is. It's an alcohol rub.
Yeah,
of some kind. So not beer.
Not beer.
No.
But like I said, you just got to be careful rubbing lenses too much. I must admit, here we go. I'm going to rag the shit out of another company here. On the last couple of workshops we've done, people have had issues with Nissi filters and cleaning the Nissi filters and creating streaks and stuff like that from them doing that. I don't know if that's the way people are applying their cleaning methods or whether or not it's the filter or not. But
yeah. I have seen over the journey, the filters that are easier to clean without fluid are generally your more expensive filters.
Yeah.
So the high-end Hoya, particularly the Hoya Fusion filters, which I just think are great, fantastic, thin little filters. They're fantastic. Yeah. Koken, remember Koken?
They're still around. I had a guy the other day had Koken filter holders for his
all the rage back with film, and when we crested into digital, it was you've got drop-in Koken, the P series filters. Wow.
Dad used to sell them. Dad used to sell Olympus, Koken, Hoya.
Yep. And
Perfect.
remember the grad filters that, they were just, everyone raved about them.
Do you remember
They were good.
Do you remember the Sunstar filters?
Oh, I think so.
You
Yeah.
screw them on and everything, just like all the lights had the Sunstar.
Yeah,
And
of course. Definitely. Yep.
back in the day, I remember even
Yep.
the catalogs, all the different filters you could get, like
Had all the
kaleidoscope filters and
red filters and orange
yeah,
filters
all
and
those as
blue
well.
filters. Yep.
Yeah, back
I
in the
remember
day.
all that stuff. Very good. If you have a question for Dear Cam, by all means, send it in through the Facebook page, by email. Email addresses are linked in the description. And hit us up with a Dear Cam question. We like to read them out on the show, and you'll get a very, very good shout out. Thank you, Liz from St. Leonard's. Greatly appreciated.
Does she come into
Cam,
the store? Does she come into the store?
I feel like I should know who that is, but sorry, Liz. Apologies. I do meet a lot of people. That's all I can.
Because you're so famous and all.
My excuse is always there's thousands of you guys and there's one of me. Is that a lame excuse? You only have to remember one. I have to remember 1,000.
Yeah, that's a cop out. You know what? There is something with people who remember people's names. Like, you come across people
it's a talent.
It's a total talent. Like, oh, that's Bob and that's Andrea and that's Simon. And it's like, who? I met them just 5 seconds ago and I've forgotten their name. Like,
my wife and I could be walking down Burke Street in Melbourne and she would look across the street and say, that is blah, blah, blah from Swan Hill. We went to school with him. And
Lisa does the same thing.
How do you know that? And she's like, oh, just remember.
Did I tell you that argument I had with Lisa at the Torquay Macca's?
We're on air, Cameron.
Oh yeah, it's okay. People don't listen this far. Remember? So we went down to Torquay Macca's and went through a drive-through and got Mac. I think it must have been coming to see you. I think
you would have been seeing me. Yes.
And Lisa goes, "Oh, that's such and such's daughter from where your brother used to live." I'm like, "No, it's not." I said, "We haven't seen her since she was about 5."
That was a what? No way.
No way. And she's like, no, that's what's her name. I'm like, whatever. So we argued, and Lisa, being a good wife, may have a certain degree of stubbornness. So she rings my brother and says, "Hey, Chris, what's the guy that used to live next door to you, had the daughter and a son? What was her name?" And I can't remember what it was, blah, blah, blah. "Oh, we just saw her working at Torquay Macca's." Like, this is 14 years after, or 10 years after we've seen him. And Christian goes, "Oh, yeah, she works down there. They've moved down there."
Okay, bang,
right,
done.
Right. So,
yep.
Did I concede? No.
Of course, it's an uncanny ability. I hats off to anyone who can remember names and faces and stuff, because I'm really bad at it.
Yeah, it's like, it's like Lily just asked that question, the Dear Cam question.
No, Liz.
Oh, Liz, was it? Sorry.
Good one, Cam.
Dickhead. Right, beer donations.
Beer donations, Cameron. I reckon I know who's donated us a beer.
Yeah, I've left one off. Hang
on. Okay. It'll be
it's ticket holder number 1
and ticket holder number
1.1. 1.1. So Mel and Jenny have bought us a beer, although Mel has upped his game a bit.
Well done.
He's bought us a jug.
If you head over to Thank you, Mel. If you head over to dsps.com.au, you can buy us a beer. There's a tag there. All beer donations help the channel and help us to bring you the Down South Photo Show week in, week out. So thank you very much.
That's right. Jenny needs to sell a cow so she can buy us a slab. So.
That's right. Speaking of the DSPS website, our good friend on the other screen, or in your other ear if you're listening to the podcast, has recently updated our workshop page, and we now have all the workshops are updated with how many spots we have left for our workshops. Selling really well. Thank you. We've got workshops coming up in 2025. We've got almost a full complement of our workshops that are available from dsps.com.au for you to have a look through. Check them out. There's a couple in Victoria. There's a couple in Tasmania.
We did. Yes. We had a lady, Helen, book a couple of spots.
Thank you, Helen.
Just during the week as well. And there's been a lot of inquiries about the Great Ocean Road, Murray Melly.
Yes.
So I think people are starting to sharpen their checkbook pencils.
Looking forward to getting back on that Great Ocean Road workshop. That was brilliant this year. Absolute highlight. So
that sunrise at the end was a bit crap, but
yeah, it was only jaw-droppingly spectacular. But yes, you're right.
Yeah, we almost killed everyone.
Actually, compared to the light we got on the rest of the trip, it probably was pretty ordinary, even though it was amazing.
After those redwoods, yeah, that was a good trip. Bring on 2025.
Now, we've been banging on ad nauseum about what you've got coming up, Cameron. Is there anything else you got coming up other than getting on the big bird and heading to Europe
No, the next time I speak to you guys will be in Scotland.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
I don't
Whose
know.
time zone do we play nice to?
Look, I'll take one for the team.
Well, we might need to do two from over there, so we'll see what happens.
So I think
You're happy to
it's
do a 3 a.m. podcast. Excellent.
no, not like I'll keep it in a norm. What would be the point of me doing a 3 a.m.
Europe's actually
podcast?
not too bad because an evening when we normally record, it's sort of morning-ish. It's not too
Yeah,
bad at all for you.
it's got to be
So that's
daylight.
fine.
So we could do one at this time, and it'd be 11 o'clock in the morning over there, wouldn't it? Roughly.
Something along those lines. Yes.
So we could do that. I'm happy to be up at 11 o'clock in the morning for you.
Wow. You're really taking one for the team then, aren't you?
I am.
I like it. Well, looking forward to that.
What have you got going on?
Thank you. I was hoping you'd ask me. It was your cue to ask me. Doing a bit more preparation for BFOP, talking a bit more with Charlie Brown about what we're doing up there on Brendan and Charlie and Brendan's. Get it right, Brendan. I am the newcomer. It is
I was gonna
Charlie
say,
and
geez, you've
Brendan's
taken
Great
over
Escape, which I'm really looking forward to. If you're going to BFOP and want to know more about the Great Escape, stay tuned. There will be more stuff coming out about that.
It's called
I've
the Great
also
Escape
announced
because people are going to want to escape about an hour into it, aren't they?
Correct. I've also announced some new workshop dates of my own through cameraandphoto.com.au. These are my entry-level workshops. I know a lot of people who listen to the show are already well into their photography, but if you know someone who is in Victoria and can come down to Ocean Grove and have a couple of hours of an entry-level workshop, by all means, all the dates are on cameraandphoto.com.au, not to confuse too many people with all the different websites that we have, but that's where you'll find that.
Perfectly linked below, aren't they, Brendan?
They will be. And also my landscape and seascape workshop, which I'm running in November. I don't know when I'm fitting that in, but I'm going to. That's a Sunday afternoon workshop that goes for 4 hours, leads right into the sunset, and we shoot the sunset at Barwon Heads. So it's a cool workshop, that one. It's one of my favorites that I do. So
you know what I'm looking
to
forward to?
Camera and Photo.
Our little workshops in January. Just something a bit warmer.
They are
nice.
good. I know. It's been cold down here in southeastern Australia.
I saw something go flying past my house before in the wind. It's blowing its ass off out here.
Oh, really?
There's a massive aurora going on. There's clouds.
Well, it's always windy when it's an aurora, right?
Hey, I've got a theory. I'm not sharing it on this channel because there is a tendency for people to pick up my ideas and run with them and go do their own thing. But I have a theory about auroras, and it's working.
Okay.
And
don't want to share it any more than that?
No.
Maybe you can tell me off air.
I'll tell you off air, but
wow.
For the small price of $1 million, you can also learn what the trend is. I'll see you in Scotland next week.
Excellent. Brilliant. That's going to be awesome. That is it. That's the podcast. This has been episode 137 of the Down South Photo Show. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Cameron. Safe travels.
Thank you.
And we will see you all for episode 138 next week.
Does this make you Snoopy if you're hanging out with Charlie Brown?
Bye for now.
Ciao.